Hello, this is the September 24th, 2025 meeting of Bridgewater's Community Preservation Committee. Before we start the meeting, just a quick disclosure. Pursuant to Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2020, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency and the June 30, 2027 extension granted by Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. This meeting for the town of Bridgewater will be fully remote and accessible to the public through remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance is permitted. Citizens wish to tune into the meeting may do so via Zoom. Okay, to start, I'm going to call the meeting to at 6:37. First on the agenda is Chair's announcements. I don't have any announcements other than just to thank everyone for being here. Moving on to public comments. I think we have James. Go right ahead. You're up.
Awesome. Thanks, Gina. I'm James Walsh, 60 Crescent Street. I think I know most of you on the call, but for those who I don't, well, I'm James Walsh at 60 Crescent Street. I guess I already introduced myself. But I wanted to show up and say hello tonight and get this group's opinion on some ideas I had for bringing to the town council. I sent an email as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I sent it to the right alias or whatnot, but hopefully that got your way. If not, I can follow up later. But I had some ideas for some revisions to town codes that we might suggest to the town to evaluate, and they're primarily focused around preservation. So I wanted to. Again, there are more details in that email that I can share, but I wanted to at least kind of introduce those and just kind of put a name to a face and start a conversation and see if anyone had feedback on those, especially since I thought this group would be interested. A little bit of background on why I'm coming with these. I have a background in architecture and city planning, and one of the things that I've personally been troubled by in town is I see a lot of these beautiful historic structures that we have that are privately owned and can get to a point of disrepair where they're torn down. So I've listened in a lot of town council meetings. I've heard folks say, well, there's rules on the books that property managers have to keep up their properties. So I was looking through our laws and trying to find out where those were, and long story short, I couldn't find too many. So I was looking at other towns that had similar ordinances. And again, I won't take too much time tonight. There's more in the email, but in a nutshell, there were three things that I thought might be of interest to Bridgewater. One was by looking at a demolition by neglect bylaw. This is something, I think of the beautiful yellow house on Main Street. I think of some of the other properties in town that have been allowed to get to a point of disrepair where there's really no viable option for the owner other than to just tear them down. And some of our neighbors do have rules on the books that enable us to look at historic properties, whether those are in our historic district or whether it's through some other criteria that we set up, and allow us to enforce if the property owner, especially if it's a commercial property or a landlord-owned property, force them to maintain their facade and their roof and things like that, so moisture isn't getting in the building. I think of there's one building on the eastern side of the common. I think it's not the flower shop, but it's right next to the flower shop. It's a 3-story building. And that one's really looking kind of tough, and I personally tried writing to that owner, but I think they're based in Medford or something like that. But yeah, so that was one, was looking at a demolition by neglect bylaw, giving us, especially in the historic district, a little bit more agency to prevent building neglect and prevent our historic structures from falling apart. And then second was I was looking through our master plan recommend and some of the recommendations that were in there. And there was one about extending our demolition delay bylaw to be a bit longer, be more in line with Massachusetts guidelines, and actually provide some incentive, right, for property owners to avoid demolishing their lot and potentially do something else. So again, I won't drone too much into the details, but this was something I was going to bring to the town council, but I thought I'd bring to this group first, since I think this would touch definitely historic district, touch a lot of areas of preservation, and could be of interest. So I'll stop talking now, but just wanted to flag that. If you have comments, happy to take them now, or happy to chat, offline or by email, but appreciate it.
Thanks, James. I just have a, excuse me, a question where you sent the email, and Josh, I know you forward everything when you receive it.
Yeah,
Have you seen anything from James?
I have not.
Okay, James, can
Oh,
you
sorry,
send it
Gina.
to CPC, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, on the CPC at bridgewaterma.org?
Is that where you sent it, James?
I sent it to, let me see. I sent it to Jay McGraw at bridgewatermass.org. But this was also a while ago, so it would have been.
Yeah, I can double check. But yeah, go ahead and forward it again to me, if you don't mind, and then I'll get that out to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And I'm sorry, it was CPC at bridgewatermass.org. Is that right?
Correct. Okay, and some of the things you said, like the historic district.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It was spam for some reason.
Oh,
Okay.
I won't take it as an insult from Outlook.
Exactly. I just released it. So
Okay,
if you have any follow-up correspondence, it should go right to me now.
great, thank you. Bill Smith, who's the liaison for the Historic District Commission, unfortunately isn't at our meeting tonight. He had a conflict, but I'm sure it would be of interest to him. So I thank you for coming and for sharing your thoughts.
Could I add something?
Sure.
We don't deal with zoning. We only deal with historic, open space, recreation, preservation, and housing. So talking about zoning, that's not on our plate, to be honest with you.
But Carlton, I think the points that were brought up are good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't vote on zoning, but we could certainly try to influence it or to ask for it to be strengthened so that we can better invest dollars. Like, I was thinking about what Mr. Walsh was saying, and I look at that building downtown that he's referring to, and I mean, if we could just get the facade improved on that, that would be a dramatic change downtown. I mean, hopefully we could also get things strengthened, and then have people come to us for historic improvements in the facade, and we could help fund those around the common,
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thank you,
Yep.
Pat. That's true. I was going to say the historic preservation part, but not the actual change. The demolition zoning is not something we
Right.
have direct
Right. But we could encourage councilors to sponsor an ordinance.
Yep.
You might know a councilor or two.
You all,
Why? I'm having trouble picturing that 3-story building. It's next to the flower shop.
it's on the east side. There are two big buildings there. One is the Mitchell block, one is the Virginia block. And I think Mr. Walsh is talking about the Mitchell block. The one that's next to Music Alley is
Okay,
and then the next one down, I think, is Virginia.
got it. Okay, didn't realize there was a 3-story. Okay.
That building that's next to Music Alley was a former school at the Bridgewater State University now that was moved in the 1800s to that location.
Okay, good. Thank you. I only go through town 3 or 4 times a day. It just, I'm paying attention to traffic.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
But that's, or I didn't mean to cut you off, Gina.
No, that's fine.
Well, no, thank you. This is really helpful. I really just wanted to, I wanted to, I'll definitely bring it to the town council as well, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, it was something that I thought this group's feedback would be really helpful. So yeah, I'll get over there, and then I'll just show up at another meeting and we could chat more if that's of interest, but I
Mhm.
appreciate the initial
Great.
feedback.
We can chat directly also because there are grants out there for that kind of facade preparation, but I'm not going to get into it here. We tried it 15 years ago for that. So there are other grants out there, so we can talk.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone for that. Okay, any more public comments? I see more public on here. Okay,
Just have
hearing.
Eileen.
Did I miss somebody?
No, I said we just have Eileen.
Okay, okay. I thought I cut her off. It was you I cut off. Okay, next, item D, approval of meeting minutes. Usually Josh sends off the draft to me and I go over and edit it, but my computer was not behaving. It's now at the computer shop, so I need to get a new one, but that's a whole other story. So I didn't get through editing. Carlton had a couple edits. My suggestion is, until we have all the edits together and Josh can put it into a nice, neat document, my suggestion would be to hold off approving the August minutes until the October meeting. Just a thought. Comments?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, thanks, Pat. Okay,
I
so,
agree. I agree.
yep, good. And we'll get that off to you, Josh.
Okay.
Okay, I can try to do it to my iPad, but I can't do the track changes on that. Okay, item E, review of financial reports. Josh, can you just put up the August 31st?
Yeah, bear with me just a moment here.
Yep. And just while Josh is pulling that up, we've had one tax bill coming so far, August 1st, and a lot of the surcharge income from that bill was paid in July, but a lot of people still pay the day it's due. So looking at the surcharge revenue so far this year, with 1 out of 4 tax bills in, we're over 25%, and it's about $40,000 more than we budgeted for.
It's actually 29%.
Right. I just ballparked it
That's
in my
okay.
head. But thank you. You can see, tax liens and interest, penalties and interest taxes, and earnings on investment, their interest for that, and dividends. Those 3 things that are in red at the top, the top left box, those we can't include in the budget because it's hard to estimate it. That's how much more, or how much has come in so far. I shouldn't say more because we budgeted at 0. So we're doing good for that. And again, the 900,000, as we've said before, and the state match, the 135,000, we budget very conservatively because you can't predict, especially for the state match. Next box, everything looks good. The Edson coroner's book has been paid, the final payment, which I believe it was 73.20. So there's another 180 that will get added back into the coffers. So it looks like we have the the right-hand chart, unofficial balance sheet is, it's 4.3 million, roughly 4.3. If you take off what's encumbered, we have a balance of roughly 3.3 million. So we're doing very well, and we do have some bigger projects that will be coming up. So that's
Gina, quick question. I'm doing this on my phone, so I apologize. So
sure, no problem, Pat.
when we have, when something's eligible, maybe you and Carlton understand. So if we've approved eligibility, has that
Mhm.
already been kind of docked from that 3.3 million? So is it really, or has that already been, has that been like put aside yet, or has that not
No,
been put
it
aside?
only gets put aside once the council approves it,
Okay, thank you.
unless it's admin funds and.
So
that doesn't need-
so projects that we've deemed eligible will have to come
Mhm.
out of that $3.3 million balance still.
They would have to come out of that, correct?
Thank you.
Okay, other questions or comments? Okay, and if you can, I know we mentioned it at the last meeting, that Keith Homestead is paid off. So it has the interest and the bond itself have zero balances, and they'll stay on until the end of this fiscal year as zero.
You know, I'm sorry, Vinny,
No,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
On the balance sheets, that reflects all the transfers at the end of June 30th. Those books were closed, and balances of closed projects that were positive for us have been gone back to either the reserve accounts or the undesignated balance from which they came. And also the any of the other, like in the upper left piece, anything that's in red goes to the undesignated balance. So all of that accounting is taken care of as of July. So
Right.
This is probably the most accurate we'll have in terms of money that we have available.
Mm-hmm. Good point. And I think, that's it for this report. Thank you, Josh. And item B, under financial reports, the state reports, our finance department, Ashley Pyers and Laurie Garini and Shelley, somebody correct, I can't think of her last name, have prepared the reports for the state. I think Shelley's in the tax office, I believe, but they've prepared the reports. They've sent it to the state before the deadline, and they're the CP1, CP2, and CP3. Just looking here, and it's basically a recap of CP1, CP2, or a recap of everything we've done for the year, just itemized. It's almost equal to our last report. Shelley McCauley is the person. So I'd like to thank her, Laurie and Ashley for the reports. So that's it. They've all been filed. We're in compliance for state reports. And that shows, I keep clicking the wrong thing here. That shows a balance to start the year, the same as shows on our report, the 400 and roughly the 488,000. Okay. Any questions on finance reports? Okay, hearing done. Item F, old business. First item is the administrative assistance scope and tracking. At our August meeting, we voted to fund for Josh for admin to pick up to, I want to say like 8,900, 8,800. I apologize. I don't have the exact number here. to pick up hours that he was cut, and those hours will be dedicated to community preservation. Carlton's put together a spreadsheet. Carlton, do you want to show that?
Sure. Hang on. I'm going to share something slightly different, Gina. I put together a spreadsheet, and Josh, you're seeing this for the first time, and I would love to have your comments, and we'll talk about it later. But what I did was put together a spreadsheet that has 10 task areas. They're numbered 1 through 10 here. But basically, what I have to do right now is change so I can see some of this. Anyway, there's the task 1 is provide administrative assistance, all the things that Josh has been doing for us for several years now, record keeping, schedules, supporting meetings, that kind of thing. The next task is process and assist in evaluation of funding applications as to eligibility, completeness, compliance with CPA provisions, those kinds of things. Just becoming very knowledgeable and helping us make sure everything's going together correctly. 1 is to ensure preservation, conservation deed restrictions are filed appropriately before the funds are finally dispersed, that kind of type thing. We can talk about the details a bit more, but it's basically trying to say, here's something we want him to work on so that the payments that we make, are covered. And I will add, according to the Department of Revenue guidance documents, we can pay a town employee to do this kind of work. So that's completely kosher. Josh, once invoices are reviewed by the chair and signed, Josh sends them down for the proper processing and follows him through on that. So that's a task. Sometimes we need some additional information, research, information gets needed or from different files or other resources. So we're asking him to assist us in that thing. But basically we want to make fill out his time card so that he gets an appropriate amount of money this year. 6, he maintains and keeps information current with the Bridgewater CPC homepage. Josh mentioned that earlier in the discussion. We want to talk a bit about more of that. And basically there may be educational materials or PowerPoints that people need to do. He would be expected to help us there. Basically clerical and research assistance on the annual preservation plan update. Remember, we have to hold an annual hearing, and that covers that activity. It's probably, hopefully a very short term, but that's an activity. He has all the inventory of project applications and project status reports. So if Gina has a question, he can quickly answer it as he's done tonight already. Thank you. And then I have a couple of other general ones, like assisting marketing materials. If we had marketing materials, that may be the wrong word, but in the annual CPA report, and actually we have a report due to the town clerk, and he can help with that. And then we may have presentations to the town council, and we can ask him for help on that. I'm asking also, I put this in, attend appropriate seminars relevant to CPA. I think that's important for all of us appointed folks to go to seminars, webinars, that kind of thing, so we stay cogent with what's going on. And then other duties as that come up. And then the last one is we have to have the annual hearing and that kind of thing. So there's scope around that. I'm sorry, I'm a little kind of trying to give you an elevator level speech, and any comment, we can send this out and talk about it some more. We can talk about it now, but I really do welcome Josh's input, because if we need to add a task, we can add that in, or remove a task, we can modify it. But it is spreadsheeted in a way that Josh would put down the date that he worked on something, and 1 hour on task 1 and 4 hours on task 2. And then the spreadsheet automatically sums up the hours there. So we have a good record of the hours. And then that goes to I think it goes to the treasurer, or it goes to the director of the finance department for input. So that's how we're planning to track Josh's time and our support, which we greatly appreciate.
Thank you, Carlton, for putting that together. And I like the summary here. It's spells it all out clear. And I reiterate, I more than appreciate Josh's help. He probably sees my name pop up in the emails and he's like, oh no. But Josh, I do appreciate everything you do. And as we said earlier, we'll get together next week just to go over some specifics and things that
if
need to-
any of the members of the committee have, if I've missed something that you're aware of and I've missed, just send me an email and I'll add it to whatever. So we're all on the same page, because I think we all have to essentially agree to this. It's probably the next meeting.
Mhm. Okay, any comments right now on what Carlton's presented? Okay, if not, we can have Josh send this out, and as Carlton said, if you think of anything, let us know. We're going to meet with Josh next week, sometime, and with the finance director, just to make sure everything's all set with her, and how everything's reported. Okay, old business item B, applications received. We do have an application under new business, but old business was the First Parish Unitarian Church window replacement. We had we had recommended it back in, I believe, July, and it went to the town council for a couple of readings. And on September 16th, they approved it. So that will be set, and they'll be getting a grant agreement letter that they'll have to sign, the town manager will need to sign too. They should be getting that.
That's one of those things Josh can help us get prepared.
Right. Yep.
He has time.
And boy, do I miss my computer working to pull up all these things too. Okay, eligibility forms that we've received. A lot of this, it looks like a long agenda. Don't panic. It's probably spaced out more than it usually is, because I sent it in a different format to Josh. So did a great job taking my iPad version and putting it in. Most of it is just quick updates too. Storage building at Legion Field, they're reworking it for pricing for a new building. I think we said last month they had to tear down the existing building. The building inspector had deemed it just not safe. So that's being reworked. Same thing with the Cedar Street Community Center eligibility form that we returned for more information. They're reworking that too. It's just busy time of year for everybody. Carlton?
It's a quick update. I found
Yep.
online, or I got notified about some kind of grant support that they could do for the work they want to do in the basement of the Cedar Street building. And I sent that to them. So hopefully he'll be able to integrate that into the next form.
Great. Thank you so much. If anybody has comments or questions on any of these things, jump right in. Okay. Project updates for projects in process. Some of these, I promise they'll be off our agenda at some point in the near future.
Tina, can you hear me? I was trying to comment.
What was
Yeah.
that, Pat?
Yeah, sorry.
That's
You
okay.
had mentioned Legion Field and demo and everything and old business. And one of the things we've had on our radar for a long time was the revitalization of the tennis courts. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here. There are no tennis courts at Legion.
No, the basketball courts. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It appears that's being done It appears that's being done outside of CPC now. It looks they've been
It
working on those
is.
courts for a week now.
It is Jim Small, who's, if anybody doesn't know, he's the superintendent for Parks and Recreation. At the last Parks and Rec meeting, he said that the capital account for the town is paying for the Legion Field basketball courts.
Are they doing the Scotland ones as well?
I asked about that, Pat, and he said he had asked for a price and they looked at it and they said they just can't be resurfaced like Legion. They have to be dug up completely and put back in. So he's looking into getting a price for that, and that will probably come for CPC monies.
So is that can kind of come off our radar then?
I took under potential new projects. I still have the basketball court, but I took off Legion Field. It just says Scotland Field.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I was glad to hear that Capital was paying for it. And I think they were supposed to start a couple weeks ago. And if you said it looks like they're working, sounds like they started about on time. Okay. Projects in process. Hanson's Farm. I believe it just needs to have the signs installed soon. The 2 signs, the main sign out by the street, the trail sign. The trails, last time I was there, having my ice cream treat, I was talking to Bob Hanson, and he said they've just been so busy they haven't had time to do a lot of work on the trails themselves, but they will as soon as it slows up for them. And he's aware that we'd like to do some type of a reception or promoting the trails. And he suggested November, after the farming season and before their Christmas tree season. So that's coming good. Carlton, anything to add for that?
No, I checked with the sign developer and I don't know, Josh is off right now, but I didn't get a response back because I thought he was going to be ready to put him in September, but I haven't heard from him. So I'm assuming everything's okay, but we'll follow up with that.
Yeah, I can help with that. And then yeah. And then also just to just as a reminder, when you guys do get that date for the ceremony, just let me know so I can reach out to our PR firm and get the press release for it.
Great.
Great, will do. Styles and Hart improvements. Don't even know where to start for that one. So we talked about before at previous meetings, the contract was closed out. We still don't know who closed it out, even though the project is probably, my guess is about half done, give or take a little. Carlton and I have met with Bob Ruley, who inherited the project when Mr. Dutton left as town manager. He wrote to Pat Brennan, who's the engineer of the project, who Carlton and I had met with back, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And Bob reached out to the engineer, who sent a list of things that have been completed and not completed. Mr. Ruley was surprised all the things that aren't completed yet, and somehow the project got closed. So we're working to get that finished. Working for signage for that, for the trail signage. And hopefully with winter coming, I don't know how much more they can do on the trails. But hopefully, my hope is that by next spring, everything's done. So that's where that stands, because there's still quite a bit of money left in that account. And that doesn't include the grant reimbursement either. I believe it's close to $750,000 left in that account.
Yeah, if everything goes like we hope and get the grant, 50% grant, it'll be close to $1 million still in that account. And we have done some work on the application. There were a number of items that were listed as to be funded. One of them was to take the Stiles and Hart main parcel has never been put under a conservation restriction. It's never been put under what's called Chapter 97, which is basically a dedicated use as a park. And there was funding in there to potentially get that done. There was some other funding there for a couple of other projects to include, which we've talked with Mr. Rulli about, but to include a potential bridge going from Stiles and Hart over to the Town River Landing. Some of you guys weren't on the committee back about 12 years ago when the CPC was asked and asked the town to vote for a borings on for the two bridgeheads, and there are borings available that I happen to have found, and I've given that to Bob Rulli because we have engineers in-house to do some of this, and so that's a possibility. I'll also add, out of our meeting, we put together a task list, just like I had done with Josh. We put together a task list that we all agreed on and during the meeting that we would be working on to get the project finished.
Mhm.
And
Good.
I'm the keeper of that task list. So whenever something happens, we'll check it and we'll put a date on it and we'll put a completion on it. I may turn it to Josh though.
Josh, you're going to be
I'm a busy guy these days.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Carlton.
You're welcome.
Okay, questions? Anything on Stiles and Hart? Okay, I still hear great things about it. A lot of people think, I was talking to someone the other day who said she had walked it with a couple of her family members. They just did the main part around the pond. They didn't go to the right that goes just after the pond. There's a connection that goes to the right. They didn't go that way, but she told me that her sister had recently gone that way. When you get to the end, you can take it's easement. But she said her sister was really nervous walking out because of all the no trespassing signs. So
that's along the river. That's the southern entrance.
Right. So I think I've requested per Bob Rulli to the town they have surveyors in-house, and I've requested to have it surveyed. So once the project gets moving again, they know that they can go around that piece of landlocked property. I would like to see it completely done. But as I said, it probably won't be till next spring.
Gina, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
One of the problems that there's that northern parking lot that is brand new, and then there's a southern parking lot that was behind the old restaurant. The town does not have a legitimate curb cut to go into that area.
The southern
one, right? And they had applied for that to be a curb cut, and the state came back with a number of other conditions that were pretty onerous in terms and potentially expensive. So that's one of the things that we've tasked Mr. Rulli with finding out a bit more about that. Part of the problem there is that's the parking for accessibility, but they have to go up along that metal barrier that's there. They did build a walkway in there, and it's not totally in compliance with ADA, but there were some actions around there. So that's one of the things we have to really work hard again on. And potentially, because the southern trail going in by the river where the gates are across the sewer easement and that, That's supposed to be accessible also, and that's supposed to be probably the major accessible trail. So we're going to have to do a lot more work on that in order to get the accessibility and figure out how people that need have accessible needs actually can get from that parking lot down to that entrance, because there's no sidewalks, that kind of thing. So there's a number of things that really have to repair. In my thinking, that's another reason why we need to reconsider the bridge from Stiles and Hart over to Town River Landing, because that could be made an accessible bridge. I actually saw one. I was out in where I grew up in Western Nebraska, and went out where there was a trail, and it had a bridge that was clearly accessible. It's a concrete bridge. Mr. Rulli said there could be other more modern materials that you could use. But so we're going to need to do quite a bit of work on that in engineering. So that's just one of the tasks that we need to continue to work on, getting that accessibility done, getting that survey done, those kinds of things, so we can actually move this project to an end.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good recap.
Gina, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Pat.
I guess I'm just confused. So the town issued an RFP, and
Mhm.
I think Ramco Survey Stakes won the bid, and it was for, let's say, $800 and something thousand. And there was a scope of work. How does a contract not get fulfilled? If we issued a contract, so what you're saying is this contract just stopped midway through?
Right,
So they didn't fulfill their obligation?
correct. And
Was it the contractor that can't fulfill their obligation, or was it the town that said we don't want you to do any more work?
Your guess is as good as mine on that, Pat. I've asked that, who closed the
because
contract.
if it's a contractor issue, the contractor should get back there and finish.
Well,
Right.
the part of the problem is that parcel that we need to work around has to be surveyed, and we do not know. We've asked everybody we could who closed that contract, and we don't know. And so basically it may have to be rebid. Mr. Rulli said he would go back and see if he can work with the pricing that was back.
But I guess I've never heard of such a thing. If that was a competitive bid process, and we signed a contract with the company, I mean, this should be pretty easy to find out. Why don't we ask the town manager or the town manager's office why this project stopped?
We have. Nobody knows.
Yep.
Has the contractor just stopped showing up?
I don't know.
The way originally it was on hold, and as far as I knew, the contract was still valid.
Do we owe the contractor any money for work already completed?
Nope, everything was paid.
Have we paid the contractor for work that hasn't been completed?
Nope.
Do you know what we paid what percentage of the contract we paid?
We paid. Let me look back at the financial. Hold on.
That financial, while you're looking at
this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. We issue a contract to a company, and it just stops halfway through, and nobody follows up or thinks it's important to follow up.
No, and
well, I'll take exception to nobody cares.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that. So anything over $1 million, we had a project manager, didn't we?
The bid was about 800,000, and they've spent about 570.
No, but wait a minute. So Carlton, somebody was overseeing the project. That was Mr. Brennan, correct?
no, well, it was Mr. Brennan, but I asked who was overseeing it for the town, and it was Mr. Dutton. And
but typically projects over a certain amount in the state require a project manager, like an OPM.
Yeah.
Didn't we have somebody representing the town to make sure everything was done? I mean, Mr. Dutton couldn't confirm that things were done. Who was that?
Mr. Brennan was that, but he there's another issue around this that he had asked for some level of authority, and some from the state asked for that. There was something going on around that. So I don't think we need to air everything here in public right now, because we don't know answers to your questions, Pat. We also agree that it's very
I took exception to what I said. It wasn't to the committee members. I mean, this
Mhm.
was a large contract that was issued to a private contractor that was being overseen by professionals, and I mean, nobody can tell us what happened. Mr. Brennan doesn't know.
No,
No,
originally it was on hold. They couldn't, which I think they could have done part of the trails. It was on hold for the southern part because of that piece of landlocked property.
but couldn't they do everything but that piece? I mean, that's a
Right,
relatively
they
small piece.
they could have, because there's the trail that goes from just past the pond and the main entrance and northern entrance that cuts across, and it kind of weaves and curves around different parts, and that goes out to the the southern route, the southern trail. That
And
whole thing, that
there's
whole
no
thing could have been done, and it's not.
there's no written communication between the town and the contractor.
We've asked for it. Hopefully, we get something.
Is Josh still on right now?
I'm here.
Yeah.
No.
So
Josh,
Josh,
can you
is
try
this,
to
I
check
mean,
that?
is this something that you followed up on? I mean, is this difficult? Do we have no idea what's going on?
This isn't something that I had followed up on. But it is on our officer list of things to address. So it'll be at the next officers meeting with the town manager.
Mhm.
I'll definitely bring it to Justin's attention prior so that we can get some more additional information on it. But yeah, I'll see what I can gather up in the
I
meantime.
mean, to me, it looks like the contractor just left a mess there. I mean, the parking lot's not done. There's a pile of dirt there. I mean, it's like they just pulled out, and
And
and no one's holding anybody accountable.
we have, I say we, um, I know Carlton noticed it. I did. People who walked the, excuse me, walked the trail have commented on it. The main entrance going in from the big parking lot, there's big ruts there from the drainage. So that needs to be addressed. You know,
I mean,
it's been in,
the parking lot behind the restaurant, the walkway.
nope,
I mean, it's all
No, the northern one.
that but I'm saying the southern parking lot is not complete. There's
No.
piles of dirt there. The walkway is not anywhere near ADA accessible. I mean,
Mhm.
the quality of work seems like it's in question as well. I just can't believe a project this size that the contractor just disappears and no, we can't. I mean, why can't somebody follow up with them tomorrow and ask the contractor why aren't they working?
We've already done that. We've
we
done that.
haven't contacted that. We haven't contacted the contractor though. We've talked to the engineer.
But
who
Mr.
told us-
Ruley, that's a task that Mr. Ruley was agreed to
Correct.
do. So right now, it's a work in progress. I will share the work plan that I put together with, and I don't think I've sent it to you, Josh, but I'll make sure you have it for that meeting. Because there are lots of questions that we can't answer on this meeting tonight. We will do our best to have answers for the next meeting.
Mhm. Right. Yeah,
I mean, because the other thing that is hanging in jeopardy because of this is the grant. We have to spend the money to get that $400,000 back. Do we have a time frame on that where that has to be complete?
The grant had
that's another issue.
it's another issue. It had a completion date. They've submitted for reimbursement of up to, I forget the number. I have it all tracked in a spreadsheet. I've got it all detailed. But they did not spend enough money for us to get 50% of the full amount of the grant. The grant full amount was 485,000. We've applied for a grant amount that's about 290,000.
But I guess so are we still getting that 480 or is part of that in jeopardy now because this contract hasn't been completed?
That's an issue, Pat, that we're looking into. Bob Ruley has been talking to the state on it.
It's a $64,000 question.
But I think that this needs to, and Josh is on here, and I'm not saying anybody on the committee is at fault, but I can't believe the town isn't all over this. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially at risk. a project not half done. And we've been talking about this for the last 3 meetings.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we've been talking about this for 3 months.
Pat, we've been talking about it for longer than that.
So, Josh,
Yeah.
can we get an update from? Can you ask Justin for an update by the beginning of next week?
Yeah, I'll see what I can get together for you guys.
I mean,
Right.
I think if he knew about this and knew how much money was potentially at risk and the contract, I mean, I think I can't believe we're still talking about this.
Mhm. Me too, Pat.
Things happened. We had a lot of changes last year. We followed it all last spring and had many meetings over the summer with town managers, the spring, and it was raised repeatedly and I have records to that.
But Carlton, the fire station is, I mean, a lot of things were going on before Michael Dutton left and they're still continuing. I mean, how?
Pat, I can't help that. It's past in the history. Now we have to get it right.
Right. Right.
And we may not want to spend all that remaining money if we're not going to get the grant now.
We have the grant. The question is, can we access all of the money that the grant had? That's a question that has to be worked at the executive office level of the town.
Right. And Pat,
I think though we're at the point where this needs to be brought to Justin right away and that this and be explained how urgent this is.
Yeah, the urgency is true, but it has been brought before the person that was assigned to complete the project. That's Mr. Ruley. Mr. Ruley was not aware of a lot of this. We had a meeting. We've put together a task that includes all of the things you're asking about.
Mhm. Pat, one thing, even if we don't receive the full grant amount that we should, you mentioned possibly not completing the whole project. But when CPC recommended the project and the council approved it, we didn't know a grant amount then. It had been applied for it, and we knew that we could possibly get up to 50% reimbursement. So it was approved without knowing how much the grant was.
The more, but we still should do everything we can to get the grant. And I don't,
Right.
I don't think there's been any work on that site in 2025.
Correct.
Correct.
All this
So
happened back in 2024.
We're 9 months in to the year. We don't know why. We still don't know why the contractor isn't there, why the project wasn't finished. I mean, that's not an us problem on the committee. That's
Correct.
That's the town that we need an answer like
Correct.
next week.
Correct.
We
We're
need an
working on it.
answer like 9 months ago.
But we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Right. So hopefully we have something to report back. And if we do hear anything in the meantime, we'll make sure to get it out to Josh can send it out to the members, just to let you know that any findings that we come up with. Okay, if nothing else for.
All I was going to say,
Stanton.
I will share the task list. When I send Josh the task list that I left with Mr. Ruley, I updated it with, and I will send that to Josh and copy the committee. When the committee gets it, it's not for discussion until we're in public comment.
Correct.
And if it's easier, Carlton, I can always send it out for you with BCC and everything.
Maybe let's do it that way. Let's do it that
Yeah.
way.
Okay, good. Okay, moving on to easier subjects, I hope. Hemlock Drive window replacement.
Good news there. I got word today or yesterday that they are about close to being done with the installation of the windows. They expect to complete that next week. This weather is delaying them. Once those windows are in, they'll finish up with some work underneath the windows, the boarding, and they'll put new trim work up and that kind of thing. We should see an invoice coming in on the work. So it's the work that's finally getting done.
Good. Parthenon Freeze. You're still up.
Even more good news. Thanks to Josh and pushing on certain things, the town manager has agreed that we can get the freeze installed where we had always planned for it, there at the entrance to the Academy building. I had an email questioning, the design is there. The engineering firm is supposedly getting under contract, is my understanding. They will do the strengthening of the walls, and then the installation will happen. And I was asked a question if we had anybody who would do the hanging of the frieze, and we do have that. That's part of the transportation team, are also install art. So that will be moving forward, and we'll look forward to Josh actually getting us an actual schedule.
Good, thank you. Anxious to see what they finally look like hung, or finally look like at all. I haven't seen them since they've been restored. Okay, townhouse interior historical architect assessment. It's a thing I can't say quick. It's in process. I needed to send something off that unfortunately is stuck in my not healthy computer. But it is in process, and hopefully we have something more to report at our next meeting. Next item, project updates, completed projects, Broad Street properties. Still, the CR is in process. It's being merged with the CR for the 5 acres that the town purchased a few, 5-6 years ago. And as Carlton mentioned earlier, I think it was earlier, that the original land that was purchased, we got something from Wildlands Trust this afternoon, who's putting together the CR. The original property, the main part of the park was purchased by the town in 1909. And as far as Scott McFadden from Wildlands Trust can see, there is no CR on it. So that's something we're looking into, putting a CR on the whole thing. And Carlton, anything to add for that?
No, it's just, when Scott McFadden is preparing a press release for the Hanson Farm, and as part of that, we've been communicating, and he indicated, I asked him questions, where's the CR? And he came back and said, we need some information for the finalization of the CR. And I mentioned the Chapter 97, and it's never been an official park. And he also looked for conservation restriction and didn't find it. So we've had conversation with him, potentially what the next steps are. So that's again another work in progress.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of stuff in progress.
We've got a lot to close.
That's right. Pretty soon, once we close them all, we'll be done in like an hour. Actually, it's just about an hour now. And we just need the final report once the CR is done. Or what we've done in the past for other projects, if we have the final report, we can accept it, close the project, and just say pending the final report. So we can do that once we have the report. Summer Street Park, aka the mobile station, is also pending the CR filing and final report. Any, Carlton or Josh, any updates on the CR for that? I know the town says they don't need it, but because it's CPC funds, we say yes, they do.
It's required by state law.
Right, okay. No update on where that stands?
No, I don't have one. We have,
I haven't
Yeah.
received anything, but I can definitely put it on my list for follow-ups. Those are the final reports are what I wanted to work on next week for getting signatures and just putting the final touches. So we can put that at the top of the list next week.
Great.
you.
And can you also check on, well, the Broad Street properties, we know where that stands, the CR, but can you try to check on the Summer Street property? The CR for that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
The-
Rebinding,
Gina, do we know where Summer Street properties are in design? I mean, is that moving along,
Yeah.
or is that on the same path as the Styles and Hart?
It's being designed right now.
So a designer does have it,
That's what we were told when we met with Mr. Rulli.
but is it an architect or just a landscape architect, or who has that now?
It's not the
Good
landscape.
question, Pat.
It's an
Josh,
engineering.
could you also get us an update on who was awarded the design work on that and when it started and what it consists of?
Yeah.
Mhm. We've been told it's been submitted to the state, but my question is, and we talked to Mr. Rulli about Styles and Hart, we talked about this. It needs to have, when it gets submitted to the state, it has to have the approval of the majority of the Parks and Rec Department.
Commission.
Two of the Parks and Rec commissioners have signed it. My argument, I wouldn't sign it. My argument was, it was never voted on by Parks and Rec. We see, all we've seen is conceptual drawings and seen 3 different versions. So I asked Mr. Rulli, I said, we need to vote on this. And yes, we all agree for Parks and Rec, but we've never voted on it. So I've refused to sign it. And at the next week, the following week, whenever the first Monday is in October, Parks and Rec will vote on it, and then we can sign it. But I personally didn't want to sign something that we never voted on, that there's no record of the vote. So that has to be sent in for, I believe, part of the grant work. It's a grant stipulation, right, Carlton? Yeah. Yeah. So Parks and Rec will vote on it. I think it needed also signatures of Open Space, and someone from Open Space had signed it, but I don't know if it was voted on by Open Space. But so that's coming along too. And we will try to find out, Pat, where the design is for that.
I mean,
Reebok.
these should be easy questions. I mean, somebody is in charge of that project, and they should be able to give us an update where the design is and who has it very easily. So
It's in
Yep.
It's in Mr. Rulli's hands.
Yep, all questions we've asked. All good questions too that you're asking, Pat. Rebinding of the 1894 death records book is just pending the final report. Same for the Edson book, and as Josh said, we're going to get together next week just to sign the reports, and we'll have them to present at the October CPC meeting. Potential new projects. We've talked about the restoration of the fire department's Samaquin hand pump truck. That, lost my train of thought for a second.
I've been
Yeah.
in communication with the fire
Okay.
department. May I do the update?
Okay.
The fire department is in the process of planning for displays and that kind of thing that are going to go into the new fire station, which is on schedule to be operable in late this year. So I've been working with them. They have a number of historic pictures that they want to bring over from the current fire station to the new fire station for displays. And we had a conversation with them. The leaders of that, they're looking at more what they want to do. But one of the conversation was around the Asamaquin. And basically what we think might happen there, if to go back several months, the one restoration firm that they could find that had time to do the restoration of that old fire apparatus is in Pennsylvania. That person wouldn't give them any cost estimate unless he had eyes on the equipment. And so the whole thought was, we'll just have it trucked down there and he'll look at it, get the price, go from there. But that never did happen. And so we have suggested that if the fella that can refurbish and restore the apparatus, if he could come up to Bridgewater and look at that and do the assessment there, then because we have admin funds that are for due diligence work, we could potentially cover the cost of a trip for him to come up, do whatever he needs to do, make a decision, let us figure out what the pricing would be and go forward. So that's another step that we've been working on. So those are two elements that we may see something from the fire department. One would be an eligibility form for the picture frames and pictures for restoration. And the other one might be for this Osamakon evaluation. That's where
Good.
we're at.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is the playground accessibility. We heard from the Disabilities Commission last month. I believe they should be putting in an eligibility form sometime in the future. Jenny Leonard Park, another thing that's been here forever. Again, Parks and Rec is holding off any plans for Jenny Leonard until we see about that.
I'm sorry. Can you go back to the playground though? I guess why isn't can the disability committee, isn't that playground under recreation?
Right.
So why
So
isn't recreation more involved in that as well?
they haven't come to recreation.
Oh, wait, can I just jump in?
Mm-hmm.
They did actually go to recreation when they were doing their capital budgeting, and
Okay.
they were told no for it. So that's when I kind of interjected in their meeting to explore grants and also come to you guys.
Okay.
So
But still, shouldn't the application be coming from recreation?
well they
Good question.
what the Disability Commission is doing right now is putting everything together, and then they are going to send it over to Parks and Rec.
No, and I agree. That's how we did like the fields that'll be coming forward tonight. But it just so recreation is involved and knows what's going on, and we'll be the ones submitting the application, correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you. Back to Jenny Leonard Park. We have that. I believe it's on our list for CPC officers to talk to the town manager on that. I'd like to have something resolved. I think we all would, for that piece of property for Oldfield Estates to be gifted to the town.
And just to jump in, that has to be done like now because they're submitting for street acceptance. And once that's done, our leverage is over.
Okay.
So, I mean, Josh, maybe that's something I'd be happy to meet with Justin and Gina and Carlton if you want. But that's time is of essence on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. If you just want to send me
Pat, why don't you send my suggestion here, Pat, if you could send Josh and copy Gina, just a quick brief, what the issue is. That way you can get something before Justin and then get a meeting.
Yeah, because I know the other two pieces they've deeded out to Wildlands Trust, and this one, I believe it's either still with the developer or with the homeowners association. But if we want to convey it to the town, we can either do it as part of the street acceptance or we can do it separately. But if once the developer's out of there and they've applied for street acceptance, then we really have no shot of getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an urgent and important issue.
Right. Right.
Again, it should be coming from recreation, but I'm happy to help.
Yeah, if you can just convey those concerns, Pat, I'll definitely get in front of Justin.
Yes. And I mentioned it to recreation. 2 recreation meetings ago. So the August meeting, I wasn't at, I was away. And when I listened to the recording, I was amazed when they said accepting that piece of property is dead in the water. September meeting, I said, no, it's not. I said, it's still an issue. And so hopefully it's brought more to light with Parks and Rec. That they have to be,
Well, I mean,
We-
unless they know something that we don't know, but the street has not been accepted yet, so. And that was one,
right, Pat, what they were going on was,
That-
I think
one of the conditions is that the town,
We lost you, Pat.
he just said that one of the conditions is the town has first right of
no, I
refusal.
said, I said unless
Oh, okay, unless,
unless the town told them they didn't want it, which I'm not aware of, but I believe the
don't-
condition of approval of that street was that the town had first right of refusal on it.
right, I don't believe they have what Parks and Rec was going by. They had met informally because Parks and Rec didn't have a quorum back a few months ago. They met informally with the acting town manager who said that accepting the land wasn't going to happen based on the DPW and Community Economic Development Director's input. But I still want to see something resolved on it. To accept a decent piece of land. Also, as a Parks and Rec person, I would love to have it there.
Okay, let's see if we can get a meeting like ASAP.
Right. And as Carlton suggested, can you just send a quick
I'll write an email tomorrow to Josh and to you guys.
Okay, good. Basketball court, as we talked about, we've been carrying on as a potential new project for Legion Field and Scotland Field. As you mentioned before, that when Pat said he's seen work being done on the Legion Field basketball court, I pulled Legion off of our potential new projects being paid out at the town's capital fund. Scotland Field basketball courts need to be completely dug up and started over. So Jim Small, the superintendent, is checking prices for that. Study of recreational land options. I want to bring this up again with Parks and Rec. They, for ages, had been interested in doing a study of the two fields to make sure that they're being used to their getting the utmost use out of it as far as placement of fields and things. Going to check with them at the next Parks and Rec meeting to see if that's something they're still interested in. If they're not, it'll come off our agenda. Okay, moving along, new business applications. Okay, this isn't all applications. It's just that's just a misprint there. It's new things. The assessment of cemeteries for restoration. We had deemed it eligible at the, I have to stop and keep thinking what month we're in. At the August meeting, Carlton prepared an application. It went to the town manager's office. They were doing a couple things, checking a couple things. We'll have it for the next meeting to vote on.
Yeah, I can give you guys a quick update. So
Sure.
Justin and I are meeting with Azu next week. We just want to go over everything before see if he has anything that he wanted to bring up as far as the application went. And then, like I said, we're looking into we just want to confirm which department's in charge of maintenance and things like that. And we should have that out to the committee, or well, at least to the officers next week, and then we can send it out to the committee once you guys have reviewed it.
You can't change our application.
No, I mean, just signing it is what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Good,
Yeah,
thank you, Josh.
Justin just wanted to clarify everything with the department before signing it.
Understood.
Okay, good, thank you. We do have, Josh sent out, I think yesterday or Monday, sent out the application for multifunctional fields. Did everybody have a chance to look at that?
I've looked at it.
I did.
Okay, I have. Pat, I know you probably have. Harry, did you get a chance to look at it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Okay, if we discuss it anyways.
It's before us. It's been submitted.
Yeah. Okay, the application showed for the whole project, but it was broken down, as we said before, into phases. The phase one is, I believe, 25,000 just for the engineering costs. The balance of it couldn't be submitted for a cost, basically,
So Gina,
because you can't
I-
have a cost. Go ahead, Pat.
so I mean, I think you, myself, and Carlton met out there about a year ago, and we walked the
Mm.
site. And the site's a great site to have multi-purpose fields for all the different sports and activities in town. And the fields back there are deplorable now. And I think most people know that for a long time that property was owned by both Bridgewater and Rainham. And a couple of years ago, there was a buyout agreement. I think it's like $70,000 a year for X number of years to buy Rainham out of that school. So the town has control of that land now, not the school district. So I think when we were out there, we were all just talking about different ideas, whether it be lit, whether it be irrigated, whether it be 3 fields, 4 fields, whether it be terraced, whether you keep the same contours and also address the tennis court. So it's very difficult. As like the CPC liaison, unless you want to take it over, I'll continue to do it, or we could do it together. I tried to work with the different sports organizations and to try to develop a budget. And we actually had Larry Silva, who did the girls softball fields for CPC years ago, come out. And it's almost impossible to develop a budget when you're standing there looking around. You really need to develop a scope of work first. So we need to develop a vision. I mean, there's a vision. I think we need to take that vision and put it onto a plan. And then have that plan circulated to different companies to get ballpark prices to then put together a budget that can be then issued as an RFP. So the vision is there, the rough concept is there. And I think the recreation department, lacrosse badges, you can see all the letters of support, all the different youth groups that use it, all want it to move forward. But in order to move it forward, we really need a plan. And then, that 500,000 numbers is a ballpark, right? So maybe it has to be broken up into phases, phase 1 and phase 2, when they can only do phase 1 now. Maybe they can't do lights now. But what really needs to be done is we have to hire an engineer to design it, to develop a scope of work, to put some quantities and elevations and things like that on a plan, so we can actually talk to people to develop a budget. So that's why the application was submitted the way it was. I reached out to Carlton and I think Carlton and I discussed, well, you could use administrative funds to do engineering and stuff like that. But we figured, if they're asking for 500, keep it all within the same budget, just release part of it now, hold the money for the rest of it, so it's allocated to that project, but don't have the council release that extra money until a scope of work and a detailed budget's put together.
Right. good points. I agree. Um, any questions, those of you that saw
And
the
I don't know if that's the right way to do it, and Carlton might have more experience, but we were just trying to figure out how to get some of the money now so we can develop that scope, develop that plan, and then come back and say, hey, all right, here's what we're going to do with the remaining 475, and then have you vote on that.
Mm-hmm.
If I might add, I think
Sure.
we should, I appreciate what's in there and the dollar amount, 500K. But I think we probably should recommend to the council that they spend $25,000 to do the engineering design and develop costs. Then once that's done, the remaining $475 is a placeholder, and then an amendment with all the specifications would be provided so that we have actual costs, because it could be higher, it could be lower. So my recommendation is to not put the money aside now, but simply get the 25K in, and then under the recommendation, we would say, you know, we're recommending 25,000 for the reasons I just mentioned, and when final plans, et cetera, developed, there would be an amendment. That's my
Yeah,
suggestion.
no, and I think that's a good idea. I just think that we should be mindful that, I mean, obviously we'll track it as a potential project, but is, you know, the money probably won't be needed till the spring to start realistically, right? If you started engineering now and everything else. So I just want to make sure that if we do all the engineering and everything, that 475 will still be available. That's all. And if it's not enough to complete the project, then the project will have to be scaled back. Maybe they do the conduit for the lights and prep the ground for the lights and do the lights at a later time, or do fundraisers for the lights. You know, maybe they, so there's, I think, you know, the guys that I've talked to that are involved in it, they want to create nice fields there and they want to prep it for the future. And if they can't do it all now, so be it.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
let's get it moving in that direction.
I
Agreed.
I think that two things. The first is, I think, my opinion, my thought is, we don't vote to recommend the whole 500,000. We vote to, if this is the route we go, the 25,000 for the engineering costs now. When the recommendation goes to the council, the whole application has to go, but we can say we're just approving right now phase one. And you did put phase one, the engineering.
Yeah, right. And that's how I think, and it happened so long ago when, and Carlton was very knowledgeable about it. I just, when I called Carlton and said, you know, we're stuck, like, how do you put a budget together when you don't even know how many square feet of grass is going to be, how many sprinkler heads are needed, or, you know, but at the same time, the leagues don't have the money to spend on the engineering. So we're trying to take part of the project and use part of the project funding and use that for design. And I think we're looking, all they're looking for right now is to get the design done. So then dollars can be put on the design. So I think that's right. I think if we vote tonight just to vote to move forward with the engineering or phase one of the multi-fields application and allow the town to spend up to 25,000 for engineering, that would be and again, that's a shot in the dark too, right? So we did speak to a local engineer that said it would be between X and Y based on what he saw, but I don't know how that works. I don't know if we can use that engineer. I don't know if this has to go out for bid. I don't know if that engineer is going to volunteer some of his services. So once we know we have those funds, you know, I'm sure Justin's office can figure out how we hire an engineer.
Right.
And to be frank with you, yes, it will have to go out to bid because it's over $10,000, and it'll have to go out for bid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know, but right, and I know that in the past, this particular engineer has volunteered through the softball field. That I think we're hoping that we don't even have to spend the 25,000. That's
Yeah, I
Right.
think I was going to ask you the question: is 25 enough?
the only reference point we have is we talked to
You've got a budgeting estimate.
we talked to Mr. Silva, who met us on the site, who's done a lot of work in that area and in town. And I, to try to develop a budget, I called him and I asked him what we should hold. And he said between, I think, 15 and 25. So we put 25 in. And I think
Good.
that was with him volunteering some stuff and just making sure he had some money for costs.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to get into what he's volunteering or not, but I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to know if up 25 was going to be enough, and it sounds like it's good.
And he may not get the job. Somebody else may come in
That's
lower.
true.
I mean, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But that's and if we can't get the engineering done for that price, I guess we would have to come back and ask for an amendment just on that piece, right?
Right.
So
Right. And even though we have the ability to do engineering out of the admin costs, my thought is we do it as a project and just do phase one. Then when you come back with the rest of the application, we just add the funds to it, to that project.
well,
That
I
way
think
the-
I think I mean everybody involved has worked hard on it. The lacrosse guy, your group recreation. I mean, and I don't think anybody's. We know there's a lot of competing interest in town, and nobody's trying to be a pig. So, I think we're trying to stay within that budget. So let
Right.
if 25,000 can be allocated to engineering, we should do that now and then develop a
Mhm.
scope. And if at the end of the day 475 is available or less is available, then we can do what we can do as phase two. And then later on, if we have to do phase three, we can do that later on. No, you can do private, but we got to get the ball rolling up there. It's a mess.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
Pat, I have a couple of questions. There were only 2 recommendation letters with the attachment. We need the rest of them. And also, was the flag football team brought into this process because they use some of that land sometimes? So,
Well, I think the flag football team is more of a private business, isn't it?
it's
I don't think the flag football team is like only team.
I don't know about it. I spoke with the person that manages it, and I asked him to speak with people just to make sure.
Well,
But
I mean, and the other thing too, Carlton, is this isn't just for. I mean, this could be for girls softball. This could be for.
absolutely.
I mean, this is not exclusive to flag football or to football or whatever. But I mean, I think.
Pat, I'm not saying that, Pat. I understand that. He just was curious about what could happen there. And he wasn't looking to have it for him, but necessarily for potential use of the land when they could.
Yeah, and
That's all.
I think the town is going to determine who and when. It'll obviously be under recreation. So we have recommendations from recreation, from lacrosse, from the Badgers, from planning board, from the school district. I mean, I don't know how many more. Do we want to ask everybody in town? I mean, he could have come to this meeting tonight. I mean, it's up.
Pat, it's okay. I'm just saying there's lots of other interest. So let's get the design work.
I think they'll all be included and be able to use it. I think it's just we gotta get the ball rolling on this.
Mhm.
Yep.
One other thing, I'm fine voting tonight for the engineering costs. Before, and I know we've discussed this in many meetings, prior meetings. I personally would not vote for the balance to be spent. Not that I'm against the project. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for the project. I still want to see a letter from our town attorney addressing our questions on it that we've had in the past. I think that's
You're talking about whether or not they build on that in the future,
right.
And we can work through that, and I think
Mhm.
that's something we can do after the engineering. But
Right.
I think there's some confusion. The land, the school district has no control over that land. They cannot build anything on that land. It's now the regional high school is different. Just think of the Mitchell School. Bridgewater Rainham did not build that school. The town of Bridgewater built that school on their land, and it was a Bridgewater school building committee. It was a Mitchell school building committee and the only people that could vote were Bridgewater residents. So,
Correct.
so it's not. I would agree that we need a letter from the school district if if the school district could control what could be built on that land, but that's been removed through the purchase. So I think we need to clear it up with Attorney Rollins, but I don't think,
Mhm.
I don't think we need anything more from the school district.
No,
That's
I
what we're
thought it-
saying, Pat. That's what we're saying. Basically, the letter from the school, it's not attached to that at this point, but that's fine. But for future protection of community preservation funds, we need to have some type of agreement that the town, if the town ever developed that for a thing other than what the recreation needs, the community preservation funds would be reimbursed.
Mhm.
Josh, were those letters not submitted to you?
No,
They were
there's
not?
only two attached. Josh, did you get any other ones other than the two that were attached?
I know we submitted to the planning board one.
The planning
Uh,
board, I saw the application includes the date that the planning board and it was approved, but I saw nothing in writing.
Yeah, they were all submitted to the town.
There is the Badgers.
I was copied on the planning board one. The school district, Ryan Powers wrote one, and I know, the town manager has seen it because he told me he saw the recommendation letter from the school district. So
Maybe.
those letters have all been submitted to the town.
Well,
Were they
they'll need,
submitted separately or with the application?
I'm not sure.
let me do this, because part of why I was a little bit delayed getting it back on my part is I didn't have any of the information. I did request it from Allison over in Parks and Rec. So I'll ask her for just the file folder and see if I missed something. But if you have any additional like letters of support that go out, Pat, from planning board or anything, if you could just CC me, that way I can just
Yeah,
keep on.
well, it would have come from Shane. I'm not sure where you have said, but I signed it and it was sent up.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll ask around for all the letters. The ones that I had attached were the ones what I had. So I'll see what I can find for you. And
Mhm.
how do you know how many there were total? Because I
It's
just
right.
had
It's
those
right.
two.
It's right in the application. Right on
yeah. There's a
Okay,
list
so
there's a list of 5 or 6 that we're gonna have letters.
there's one from
Okay.
there's one from the football organization. There's one from
That was the Badgers.
there's one from the superintendent of schools. There's one from the
Nope.
planning board. There's
Nope.
one from recreation as well.
Nope.
From lacrosse and also from Badgers. Yeah,
Recreation. You guys signed one from recreation too, Gina.
Oh, that's good.
it's listed.
It's listed. I didn't know we sent one.
I
So-
definitely didn't have one from planning board, so I'll ask for those again.
To move this forward, we can vote on this tonight, but before Gina sends the letter up to the town manager and for the council, we need to have all of those letters attached,
Mhm.
please.
Okay.
Yep. And Pat, just to address what you said, that in regards to if the school decides to build there, I understand that it's town-owned property. However, if this BR decides they need a new school or they need an addition for more room, they deem that's the best spot, the town of Bridgewater agrees that, and I know that that school belongs to the town, so this might be convoluted. What I'm saying is, if it's decided that's where it goes, you know, we saw it with the Tool property. It was donated for Parks and Recreation, but yet they're building a fire station on it. So things change.
Right. And I think we can work that out with the town, but that.
Good.
I mean, obviously, before we construct anything, we'll have that worked out.
Right. Okay. Good.
And again, this is not. These aren't. This is more of a rehabilitation of the site. So these fields already, to some degree, exist. They're in terrible condition, but there are
Mhm.
already tennis courts there. There are already grass fields there. There are, so this is more of an upgrade and a rehabilitation of the existing. And I think that's what it would fall under, Carlton, right? It would be a rehabilitation.
And creation, both.
Right. Okay. So Any other comments? Harry, Maureen, comments?
This is Maureen. I think
Okay.
it's a good idea to get the plan done by an engineer so we can know what that everything's going to cost. And I'm agreeable to that.
Okay, good. So entertain a motion if that's what the committee, or at least a motion, then we can discuss and vote.
Let
I'll
me
make-
try something.
I'll make them. You want?
Okay, Pat,
I,
Go ahead,
I'd make a motion to approve the funding of phase one of the multi-field recreational project in the amount of 25,000 to perform due diligence, engineering, and develop a scope of work.
can
And-
you just add to that, taken from?
I'll second that. I'll second that and let you add that.
All right, second that, and then take it from which bucket? Recreation or
Oh, it's open space and recreation are the same. It's 3-2.
well, how about
Or-
are we better off to use undesignated funds? Haven't we been putting the most into undesignated?
You know
That's-
what, probably because the balance in open space is 294,000.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so
we
let's,
have
so
over,
I'd change my motion to take it from undesignated funds.
okay, so that's 359,000.
I believe you.
I'm looking at it right now. Cause I don't know these by heart.
So it's a recommendation to the town council for $25,000 to support phase one, and all the things that Pat said. I'm just clarifying, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
Can
And
I
we'll
ask
pull
a
the
quick
impact-
question?
Sure.
So I noted in the minutes here that it'd be broken up into two phases. Do we need to make any adjustments to the application itself that it'll also be broken up into two phases while we're
The
getting
application
letters
is
for-
written that way.
The
Yeah,
application.
the
is written in
application
two phases.
has two phases
Okay,
to it.
okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's some editorial things there, but basically phase one is engineering, phase two is all the rest.
Okay.
Mhm. And Josh, before I send off the recommendation, can you just make sure the letters are attached? Because as you know, I send the whole application.
Yeah, I will I'll locate those letters tomorrow.
Okay, good.
So should I
Um,
call the question?
yeah, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Pat.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Great. And can I just ask, as I've said in many meetings, I'd like to have our members be the project to overseer. It's not overlooker. And Pat, you're the most familiar with it. Would you be the overseer for that project?
Yeah, you know, I thought about it, Gina, and I'm happy to do it. But I
Okay,
also think it should be you and I, because you are the recreation liaison to planning board.
Okay.
I'm into planning board. My God, to
And I'm agreeing with you.
you're the recreation liaison to CPC, right? So you're supposed to
Correct.
be between the project and it's the CPC side, and so
Excuse me.
I mean, I'm happy to help you with it, but I think that you're appointed.
So
Dana?
she's sneezing.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if you heard what I said, but your role is to represent the recreation on CPC, correct?
Correct. Could we
So
oversee it.
I'll do it with you, but I think you
Okay,
should be,
good.
I think you should be involved.
Right, okay.
I mean,
that
we can
sounds
be,
good.
we can be co-liaisons. I mean, I inserted myself to try to help out and everything else, and I'm happy to continue to, but I don't want to be somewhere I shouldn't be either. So I think I'm happy to help you.
I
Yep,
think
oh,
we have an
that's
agreement that
good.
you'll co-lead it. You'll co-liaison it.
Yeah,
But I
Thank
think you should be
okay,
the
sounds
liaison.
good, thank you. And I apologize that I keep coughing and sneezing. Just allergies. Okay. Next, fire department historical pictures and framing. Carlton already covered that. Town River landing resolution. Carlton, you had asked for that on the agenda?
Yeah, I just, folks need to know that the town council had a resolution before them for the town manager to explore the use of town funds for the Town River Landing upgrades, for lack of a better word. Just recall that we denied an applicant because there was a clause in the license that said no town money. And so the town council it wants the town manager to look into that, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, good. Questions, comments? Okay, we're not sure what the town manager's going to do with that. Application template. Our application, I have to admit, needs some work to it. I still get confused when I look at it where it shows the pricing and it gives examples. I keep thinking that somebody putting prices in. Needs work. Carlton has looked at from another town, their application. I've looked at a few. They're much simpler than ours, but I think ours also has a lot of good things that the other towns don't. So what I'd like to do is, and Josh can help out with this, and you spare time, Josh. And we'll try to look up to different applications. My first thought was to have our members try to look at applications, but we could be like, 5, 7 times all looking at the same application. We can pull some samples from other towns and get them out to you, and you can just review it. And we'll discuss it at the next meeting, just if possibly, and maybe you feel our application doesn't need to be revised. But just a thought for the future. Anything else is brought up by the committee? Nope, that's good. Committee liaison reports. Parks and Rec was kind of covered and other things. Let's see. Harry, anything for Concom?
I didn't get the agenda for tomorrow's meeting, so I have no idea what's going on right at the moment.
Okay, you guys have to start meeting before our meeting. Just teasing. Maureen, anything for open space?
No, there's nothing to report other than we're still hoping to get new members for our committee.
Okay, good. And Harry, you guys have a new
Gina?
member.
Gina?
Eileen.
Yes,
Eileen.
This is Eileen. Let me just
Hi.
add to that. I have a little bit of information that Maureen doesn't have yet. Josh just let us know we do have a person who's supposed to, I think he'll be confirmed at the, is it the October 5th council meeting?
So
Seven.
he still has to interview with the Citizen
Right.
Advisory Committee
Yeah.
tomorrow, and then with their recommendation, he would be ratified at the October 7th.
October 7th. Okay. All right. So anyway, so that's progress. This is somebody who's been willing to be on for some time, but both he had two conflicts of his own schedule. He was out of town when the CAC met. So anyway, it's been a long delay, but still, that's only gives us 3 people, which makes it hard to have a quorum with, especially with Maureen and I, who tend to be out of town from time to time. So
Mm.
still looking for additional people. So,
Okay, okay, good. We'll get the word out for you.
all right. Thank you.
Okay, Pat. Planning board, anything new?
What do we have going on? Not too much, but I think just the planning board spent a lot of time in that Oldfield neighborhood, and the Latola family that designed it,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't ultimately build it. They sold it, but they were very good to work with, and very mindful of the Jenny and Leonard Park, and left that land and created the pathway and had the developer build that parking lot and tree it and everything else. So I mean, it was well thought out, and we've been talking about this over and over again. And I know there's a few people that work in town that don't live in town, that don't use the facilities in town, that don't want it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to push as hard as we can in the remaining time that we have left. So if I will send that email tomorrow to you, to Justin, to you, to Josh, and to Carlton, but we need to have a meeting on it and
Mm-hmm.
get it done and put it to bed, one or the other.
Good, thank you. I think
Can I
that's-
just do a very quick thing?
Sure.
Because we're lacking 2 members, I think the Housing Authority is still working on their membership to the CPC. But the problem is the Affordable Housing Trust is basically a commission on paper, a committee on paper. And when I mentioned that, when I first talked with Justin last, probably June or July, he said, well, we'll just make 2 at-large members. And that's something that we need to continue to work on. The counter to that is there is a bit of a push from a council member to get the Affordable Housing Trust up and operating, because there is money in that account. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but just stay tuned.
Okay, good, thank you. And I'll try to follow up again with the Housing Authority. I was told by the director that they would be appointing someone soon, so I'll follow up on that too. Okay, any public comment? Okay, hearing none. Our next meeting is Wednesday, October 22nd. As of right now, it'll still be virtual, but as always, if it's deemed to go, I should say it's remote, well, virtual, but if we decide to go hybrid, the thing with the hybrid, 2 things, one of us has to learn how to record it and set everything up. The second thing is we still have to have a majority of members there in person. So it's something just to keep in the back of our minds. Okay, if nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
Nobody wants-
motion to adjourn.
I was gonna say, nobody wants to adjourn.
Second,
Thank you, Maureen and Harry. Discussion? Never any discussion on adjourning. Josh, roll
Well,
call?
actually, discussion real quick. So
Yes.
do we know when, Josh, this CPC will go to the council? The CPC recommendation for 25,000 will go to the council. What meeting?
Yeah, so it'd be the October 7th meeting.
October 7th?
If we get everything in time.
Yeah.
It has to be in the Wednesday before the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yep, and I work with the town council clerk, so I can pull some strings.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well, I was just gonna give the guys that wrote the letters of recommendation and Mark Thomas a heads up, because they may want to attend the council meeting.
Okay, good.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, and Josh, I may have you, depending on my computer issue, I may have you type that up from
Yep, happy to do that.
based on one of the others as a template.
Yeah, we could even do that next week when we meet, so.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, back to roll call to adjourn.
Gina,
Yes,
Carlton,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Pat.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting's adjourned.
meeting's
you.
adjourned at 8:26. Thank you, everybody, for a good meeting.